Hi, I'm John, and this is my Bearhug compressor. It's a really simple, really small, and very quiet FET-based compressor that I designed. It's got three controls. It's got a level control, starts at unity volume somewhere around noon, and it'll give you about 10 to 15 decibels boost at the maximum setting. The comp knob changes the gain in the compression settings, so it's just affecting the compression. As you turn it up, you get more and more compression. It's got a low and high switch over here, just a little toggle. The low setting is a short decay, the high setting is a longer decay. In the high setting, you can get a little bit more of a duck and swell effect, which is what a lot of people think of when they think of a compression sustainer. And it'll also increase the overall amount of compression available. I'm going to start off in the low setting, the comp at 0, the level just around noon. Here's my bypass, and I'm on the bridge and middle of a strap. And here's with the compressor on the lowest setting. So again, almost no compression at all in that setting. If you have really high output pickups, you might hear a little bit of peak limiting, but right now the threshold to get there is pretty high. I'm going to turn the comp knob up to noon, just a little past noon, and bump up the level just a little bit. It'll help with a very small volume drop on the higher comp settings. So it's still really subtle in this setting and also just very natural sounding. And I know it's really hard to hear compression in a YouTube video, but this is definitely one of the settings where you can't tell it's working, but you could miss it if it were off. That comes with evening out the tonal spectrum as you start to compress. I'm going to put the comp knob all the way up, and this is still on the low setting. On this setting, you'll hear maybe just a very small amount of duck and swell on the hardest notes, but if you're playing normally, you really won't hear too much of an effect. It'll just kind of even out the spikes. Still pretty open sounding and nothing extreme on the low side. Let's switch over to the high side. I'm going to leave the comp knob at noon, bump up the level just a touch. That again might be hard to hear on a YouTube video, but there is definitely a lot more peak limiting on the high side. with between the compressor being off and the compressor being on. So it is very definitely evening out the total volume you can get out of it. This is with the compression all the way up, and as I said, in the higher comp settings on the high side, you can start to get more of a swell effect, which gives the illusion of sustain. And again, you might have to bump up the level on the higher comp settings. If you were to put a boost or an overdrive or something in front of this, it would start to eat up a lot of the volume that you get out of that. So you can actually use it after dirt effects to kind of even things out. Though be aware that like any other effects, any other gain effect or volume effects, putting this after a noisy effect will just amplify noise. But it's really quiet. This is on a humbucking setting. This is the quietest setting on my guitar, and with the volume turned all the way up on the effect, with the comp all the way up. So absolutely no noise at all. This is with just a single coil with the volume all the way up, and that's a unity volume. Absolutely no difference between having the effect on or having it off. So again, I was really happy with how quiet the effect is, and I think it works really well to sit in between some other compression effects you can do. It's less subtle in some of the settings than something like an orange squeezer or in Afterlife, but it'll still give you plenty of boost. It'll do much more noticeable compression. So, people who don't like to use a compressor, if they can't tell it's on, you can get a setting out of this, but it'll never change the tonal spectrum of your guitar. So again, I was really happy with this design, and just as a note, the build documents are on my website. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments, and also Josh McClarren from 1776 Effects may end up doing a PCB run if you're a builder and you want a slightly easier build experience than building it on perf board. I like to build on perf board, so that's how mine's done. But his would be a really easy project. It's got board mounted pots and everything. So again, check out my website for build docs, or just ask a question down below. And you can also find me on the Matt Bean forum, and I hang out on DIYstompboxes a lot too. So I'll probably post this on both forums. Thanks for watching.